back to our returning viewers, and hello to any of our new viewers. Today's guest, we have Mike Ross, who's here today representing Mini Pops Kids. There's a tour coming up, going through North America with a few notable East Coast dates. And maybe, Mike, if you want to give a little overview of what Mini Pops Kids Live is for anybody that's new to it. Myself, I remember Mini Pops being around for my entire life, but I'm realizing that maybe some of my references are dated.
You're right. Mini Pops, back in the 80s, it was Mini Pops. It has been around for quite some time. I grew up with the Mini Pops. I think that's how I learned lyrics to all of my Christmas songs growing up on a cassette tape, the Mini Pops cassettes. Now it's the Mini Pop Kids. We are just about to release album 19. So it's been 19 years that Mini Pop Kids has been circulating with different albums. Over the last, I would say, 10 years of Mini Pop Kids, it transitioned from being records and albums to being live concerts and live shows and doing live performances. What we take pride in is we are able to give families and young children clean lyrics, safe music that everyone can listen to and enjoy without having to worry about certain things that are allowed on radio airplay today. But everybody wants to stay current, and everybody loves Taylor Swift and Lizzo and Bruno Mars and Beyonce and all of these incredible artists. But parents do appreciate being able to put on albums that their kids can listen to, not having to worry about the lyrics. So when you take that and you translate that into a live concert, we do all of today's hits, some throwback classics. We throw some things in there for the parents, like Whitney Houston, Cyndi Lauper, Girls Just Want to Have Fun, little classics that everybody will sing along to. But it's an hour and a half of upbeat, sing along, dance out of your seats kind of vibe. That's a concert being performed by kids for kids. It doesn't get any better than that.
And for the parents of the small children out there too, some parents where they have children that are back to back close in age, it's hard to find an opportunity to get out and enjoy live music. So I know myself, when mine were small, the opportunity to get out to a show like that was always a nice little treat. And
Yeah,
I'm
I think in some areas that we go to, we find there's not, we're in the GTA in Toronto area, so there's more opportunities for families to take their children to do some things. Coming to the East Coast, we find, especially when we go to smaller communities in the West Coast as well, not as many opportunities or not as many shows or events are coming through the communities. So people really do appreciate when our show is coming through because it really is a family function. Everybody enjoys themselves, dads, grandparents, moms, aunts and uncles, all the kids. It's a good time for everybody. So to be able to bring something like that, that is for the whole family. It really is something special for parents that I feel they don't always get that opportunity for sure.
And you mentioned that you were Toronto based. So the talent pool that you're pulling from for the kids that are performing, are they Toronto based as well, or are they pulled from all over?
They're within the GTA area. Currently, the furthest MPK that we have lives in London, so it's about a 2 hour commute between Toronto and London. In our last previous group, one of our MPKs lived in Kingston, so they were doing about a 3 hour commute back and forth. So, but for the most part, we're talking Toronto, Burlington, Scarborough kind of area. Yeah.
And what's the age range for the performers?
We are 12 to 14 is usually the average age range that we have as a mini pop kid. Yeah.
That's right in there in my youngest daughter's age range, actually. So I'm sure
Right,
that
right.
sure her and some of her
Yeah.
friends would find it interesting as well, besides just the little ones.
Well, in the different age, yeah, because you have that age group that some of them want to be a mini pop kid, or they can relate to it a little bit more. So that's their side of the interest. And then you have the little kids, and they're just looking up to them like they're the next big thing. So it's fun to see the age range within our audiences and different levels of enjoyment for different reasons. But it's pretty cool.
And for the tour dates that you have on the East Coast, they're coming up first week of March. There's
Yeah,
seven
February
seven dates.
29th, we're hitting, yeah, 7 shows for 5 dates. We're hitting Glace Bay first on February 29th at the Savoy. Then we're doing the Rebecca Cohn Theater on the Saturday, 2 shows there. And then we hit Moncton Casino, then Fredericton Playhouse, and then St. John Imperial Theater. So we're making our way through the East Coast.
And you have a little bit of a treat to add some local flair as you're doing these dates as well. Maybe give a little bit more insight into what you're doing with the local music groups.
Yeah, so what we do actually, what we're doing for this tour is we're involving a lot of local dance studios, and we have done this in the past, and it's something that we're trying to continue to build on community relationships. But you think of students who are taking dance classes and vocal lessons and all these things. They're training to be prepared for opportunities like this, and so we want to try to give students and young performers in each community a chance to be a part of a show and be part of a stage with lots of lights and big sound and smoke effects and all of these things. So we are still working with local dance studios. We have 2 local dance studios sort of basically in every market. And we try to rotate each year. We try to do some research and tap into different studios that we haven't tapped into in the years past. In some markets, not in the East Coast, but in some markets out in the West Coast, we're also starting to involve some local singers, people who are young performers who might be working on their album, or there's one person in Vancouver. She was part of a CBC television show, and she's just releasing a new album. So we're having her be part of a show. So we're trying to just network with different people and giving them all sort of an opportunity. But in the East Coast in particular, it's all dance studios. We have anywhere from 15 to 25 students from different dance studios that will join us at different moments of the show. So we send them choreography. They get to learn parts of our show. They show up earlier on the day. We rehearse the mini pop kids with those dance studios, and then they do the show. And for some, they also are doing some opening numbers as well. So routines that they would be putting into dance competitions or that they've been working on for their end of year recital. We're giving them an opportunity to showcase that material as well as part of our pre-show kind of hype to get the crowd hyped. So it's a really great way to showcase local talents within the communities. And some of these communities, those kids on stage are going to be recognized by some of the audience members. And I think that's a really cool connection for those kids to have.
Oh yeah, that extra little local touch is always a nice little treat. Especially I'm a little biased being from the East Coast, but I find with the smaller communities, knowing somebody, having that personal connection always adds an
Right,
extra little
right,
flair to
right.
those performances.
Right. I grew up in Cape Breton. My folks live in Victoria Mines. So Glace Bay is, we're bringing the show very close to home this time around. This is our first time to Glace Bay. So I'm really excited to hit the Savoy Theater because I grew up going to the Savoy Theater, seeing many different shows, Rena McNeil, Nally McMaster, the Leahys, all that good Celtic music. So it's cool to be bringing the Mini Pop Kids show to this theater. And, it's always great to be coming home.
It's awesome. And
Yeah.
where do you plan to take the tour when you leave the East Coast? Like, it's the same children that you're bringing with you down and through the States.
They are on the road for the next 4 months. These 6 kids, all of our mini pop kids, we really do, we really are lucky. We find some of the greatest kids. And I try not to call them kids because they're young performers. You watch them mature and become professionals so quickly because they don't really have a choice. They're being thrown right out into it, but they live for it. They have the best time. They're just great. They're really good at keeping up on their schoolwork. They're traveling every weekend. And their parents too. It's a big group that's traveling and flying in and out, and it's pretty crazy. But after the East Coast, we come home to Ontario for a little bit. We're going to do a couple of shows, take a breather, and then we head out to British Columbia, that's Alberta. Then there's Winnipeg, Brandon, Manitoba, leg in there, back out to BC and Alberta again later on, and then Toronto. So it's a lot of back and forth. We were just down in Pennsylvania in at the end of January, And then coming up into the summer, we're going back down to the US and doing some shows throughout Illinois and through West Virginia. So there's always something going on. There's always new tour dates being added.
It sounds like a huge opportunity for a young performer where you've been doing it for going on 2 decades. And is
Yeah.
there anyone that's kind of graduated beyond that that you've kept up to date with over the years that's still performing out there in the industry?
There's quite a few. Johnny Orlando is one that comes to mind. You probably know the name. He was a mini pop kid. We've had a lot of kids. Kaylee, she did Netflix did 13 the musical. They took the musical and adapted it into a movie. She was one of the characters in that movie. We've had Vasily, some of the kids that we have right now, Glee. Actually, one of our kids, Glee, we lose this weekend because she's going out to film a movie that she just got cast in. So our kids really do either they enter already having a bit of a platform, or through the mini pop kid platform, they get noted, they get signed, people start paying attention, and through the experience and as they grow as a performer, they're getting that experience, they're more confident to walk into an audition room, and they start landing those roles, and like I said, people start paying attention to them more. So we have many kids that we could hang our hats on their hooks and say, like, yep, they were a mini pop kid, they were a mini pop kids, they were a mini pop kid. It's pretty cool to see how some of them, continue to grow and what they do years later.
And how would a child or the parent of a child that has such talents, how would they go about finding more information about getting involved with something like that? Do you go out and headhunt people, or is there an audition process?
For mini pop kids, we hold auditions every year. So I always encourage people to pay attention to minipopkids.com and to our socials on Instagram and Facebook. We're always going to update and give people lots of information, a lot of notice when we're looking for new talent. In areas that's not in Toronto, I always say, Google and see what institutions are around, what performing arts places are around. Usually there's, it's the same people that are connected to some extent who knows somebody who knows somebody, to kind of just speak about, the next steps, representation, depending on what that angle is. But I think in particular, the East Coast, this is such a musical place. In any province that you go to, music is just, in everybody's body, heart, and soul. So I think there's a lot of great connections and a lot of great resources in the East Coast for people to be reaching out to. It just takes a little Google. Or when in doubt, just email info at Mini Pop Kids. We've got a great team that would be willing to point people in the right direction. And we always love seeing new talent come through in video submissions.
Awesome. And kind of along the same lines, since we're looking for information, if anybody wants to look up where to get tickets or they want to plan a couple dates there, where's the best place to find all the tour dates and get tickets?
Mini Pop Kids is going to be the best place. It's going to link you straight through Bands in Town, which takes you right to all the box office websites for all the venues. Some tickets in some markets have sold out, and we're into second shows. So if people are interested and they know the show is happening, they should look at getting tickets soon, because some markets we're going to run out pretty quickly. Plus, it's a great time. It's an hour and a half. You will not be disappointed. Minipopkids.com, on Instagram at minipopkids. Facebook as well. We keep everything and everyone up to date with all of the upcoming shows, and easy clickable links. It will take you right to where you need to go.
Right. That sounds very convenient. Congratulations on the sold out shows. And
Thank you.
hopefully there's a couple more to add to that list.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So thank you for taking the time to give us a little bit of information behind what's happening here and give us a little bit of details up front on what we can catch while you're down here on the East Coast.
Awesome.
And stay in touch if there's anything in the future. If you're heading back through the East Coast, sounds like a couple sold out shows. You might want to do another tour through here in the future years as well.
Already looking at 2025. So
Awesome.
we enjoy this yearly rotation with the East Coast. And we try to always line it up with the March breaks, so we know that people are kicking around and looking for things to do. So I hope people will come and check us out. And yeah, like I said, more information at minipopkids.com. but I can't stress enough how fun it is for everyone, adults, kids, and everything in between. Everyone will have a great time at our show.
Great. Thanks a lot. And there should be a link in the description below as well.
Awesome. Thanks for your time today. This was great.
See you soon.
Thanks. Take care.
I'm never good enough.